They had no name for fear. No words for the strange ache in the chest, or the weight that came before the scream. But they felt it. Deep in the marrow of their still-forming bones. Before fire. Before weapons. Before names. Something watched them. And it had always watched. 6 million years ago, in a land covered with wild grass and dark forests, a small band of early hominins lived in the mouth of a vast cave carved into a hillside. They were not Homo sapiens, yet. They were something in between, bent forward, wide-eyed, their minds young but growing. They had no spoken language, but their cries, gestures, and body movements served well enough. They hunted small animals, gathered roots, and huddled together for warmth when the wind howled across the plains. Among them was a child, barely past infancy, named U, so called because that was the sound he made when frightened. The others took no offense to the name. After all, names were not yet things of pride. The leader of the tribe, an older male called Gra, had a long scar across his face from an ancient wound. He carried a sharpened stick, one of the few tools they had discovered, and he slept with his back to the cave wall. The cave, which they called simply home, was dark and deep. It offered safety from the cold and the rains. But even Gra did not go into its depths. No one did. On the third night after the red moon rose, the wind brought with it a strange sound, like breath echoing through the rocks. The tribe stirred. Mothers clutched their young. The fireless dark pressed in. It was U who heard it first, the slow, dragging sound near the cave wall. Not quite a footstep. Not quite an animal. Something in between. He whimpered. Gra was beside him in moments, his old eyes scanning the blackness. There was nothing. But the sound remained. Scratch, drag, sniff. And then silence. They saw it the next night. A form, tall, crooked, standing just beyond the light of the moon. Its skin seemed to melt into the rock. It had no eyes. At least, none they could see. It did not move like a predator. It did not growl, or charge. It simply stood and watched. U reached for a stone. Gra stopped him. He knew, deep in some ancestral memory, that to provoke this thing was to die. They huddled. And in the morning, the thing was gone. But one of the tribe was missing. That night, 3 cries echoed in the dark. The first was from a mother, waking to find her child gone. The second was from U, who saw a long finger slip back into the cave wall like smoke. The third was from Gra, who, despite all instinct, plunged into the depths of the cave with his sharpened stick. He never came back. At dawn, the tribe gathered. They found the outer cave wall covered in marks, scratches, symbols, lines burned into stone. But they had no words for writing. They only knew, this was a warning. The ground was disturbed. Stones arranged in patterns. Bones missing. And always, the watching. It came every night now. Closer. Bolder. Its shape flickering like heat. Its breath cold like stone. They tried to leave. But the children would cry when the cave was out of sight. As if something tethered them to this place. Desperate, the remaining males of the tribe prepared a trap. Spears, rough and sharp, were placed in a pit. The cave's mouth was baited with bones. And they waited. But the creature did not take the bait. Instead, it circled. It whispered. It mimicked. That night, one of the hunters was found impaled, on their own trap. The others refused to speak. Not because they were afraid. But because the creature had stolen their voices. U, now older, could not sleep. He dreamed of black tunnels and cold hands. So one night, alone, he went into the cave. He carried only a small ember, stolen from a storm-struck tree. He held it close, its light feeble but alive. He walked for hours. The walls seemed to breathe. The air grew colder. And then he saw it. Not the creature, but its nest. Bones. Skins. Stone carvings, faces screaming. A pit in the floor, endless and black. And behind him, breath. When they saw Ooh again, he was dragging something. A burning branch. A scream in his throat. He had seen the creature, and lived. Fire, he said. Fire kept it away. And so the tribe made fire. They waved it in the dark. They burned the cave mouth. They lit the trees. And for a time, the creature did not come. But Ooh knew. It was still watching. It always watched. It had only gone deeper. Waiting. Thousands of years later, the cave still stands. Its mouth silent. Its walls blackened by old flames. Locals say no animals go near it. No birds nest above it. No insects crawl its stones. And some nights, if you stand quietly, you will hear it. Scratch, drag, sniff. The first stalker never left. It simply waits. Because before there was language, before there was memory, there was fear.